I can't express what an absolute honor it is to be introducing Jessica Mendoza this evening. You know, I remember seeing Jess's name on the front page of the Ventura County sports section on numerous occasions as an all-star back in high school, as we grew up in the same area. So I knew of her amazing athletic ability for years, but I have to share a little story about how Jess and I met. So about a year and a half ago, I wanted to reach out to Jessica about how the Women's Sports Foundation and WISE might be able to work together. And at the time, I didn't know that we shared mutual friends, so I didn't think I knew anyone that knew her, so I did the next best thing to try to reach out. I Googled her. I found her fan site, and hidden at the bottom of the page or at the site was an email address. So I decided that it really couldn't hurt to reach out. So I sent Jess an email saying, who I was and that I really thought it would be great to connect our two organizations. Oh, by the way, I grew up 10 minutes from you. Thought maybe, the Ventura County connection might give me a little pull. So sure enough, showing what an amazing person Jess is, about 2 days later, I got an email back from her. Alex, I'm so glad you emailed me. I think she said that. She did. I'd heard about WISE, and I wanted to connect with someone in LA because most of the Women's Sports Foundation events are in New York. So would love to chat. But please don't ever email me at this email address again. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. Let's chat. So we got in touch, and ever since, Jess has been very willing to share some of her insight and experiences. And after I had a chance to sit down with Jess in her home several months ago, I came to realize who Jessica Mendoza is as a person, beyond being a phenomenal athlete and serving as the leader of the Women's Sports Foundation. Jessica Mendoza is so giving of herself, never expecting anything in return. And if any of you are following Jess on Twitter, you may have gotten a glimpse of who she is and what she stands for. On any given day, you will find Jess traveling with her professional softball team or the USA Olympic team, or doing commentary on ESPN for college softball, or maybe doing philanthropy work for Team Darfur, or how about chatting with middle school kids at a 5K, teaching them why it's important to, stay healthy and be active, or possibly doing commentary for ESPNU for college football, or how about doing service as the president of the Women's Sports Foundation, or maybe spending time with her husband and her 1.5-year-old, on the beach, of course. And according to Twitter, she's actually done all of this in the last 24 hours. Or at least it seems like she has. To be honest, I didn't know that planes could travel as quickly as Jess is able to get from place to place. But Jess has found a way to completely be selfless to her fans, her colleagues, her friends, her family, which is an amazing feat and one that I know many in this room are trying to figure out as well. Jess truly embodies what it means to be inspiring. And it's been really neat getting to know Jessica over the past couple years and understanding what an amazing human being she is, far from being an amazing athlete. I recall a conversation I had with Jess about how it's tough for many professional athletes to find careers after they're done competing. And when chatting about this, all I could think of was how Jess has taken it upon herself to create the opportunities that would take her far beyond being a softball player. Taking risks and stepping out of her comfort zone is exactly what she has done to accomplish all that she has, while also putting herself in a position to better help others. And anyone that you talk to that has ever met Jessica Mendoza will tell you there is a presence about her that is welcoming. She is always wanting to give back, and she really embraces the role that she is in. There are many professional athletes that don't want to be the role model, and I think Jess has taken full advantage of who she is and the name that she has established for herself. So I am incredibly honored, excited, thrilled to have Jessica Mendoza as one of the first WISE LA Women of the Year honorees. Jess, thank you for all that you've done for women, for girls in sports, in business around the world. I know you will continue to serve as an inspiration for many, and we want to thank you and honor you this evening for all of your hard work.
Okay, so I really have nothing to say after that. That was amazing. Thank you. I need to travel with you in my pocket and have you introduce me anywhere I go, because she definitely is making me sound a lot better than the real thing, I promise. But First and foremost, I really just want to thank the woman that in my life has definitely made me who I am. Sorry. I do this every time I talk about my parents. My mom, who's here tonight. I'm normally, like, I can go through a million training and all this stuff that I do, but every time I talk about my parents, that always gets me. Anyway, switching gears. When I grew up, I was always involved in sports. Very active, very hyper child. And I remember my father taking me to Dodger games. Go Dodgers. And I grew up looking up to Brett Butler, looking up to baseball players, to men. And it was great. I had their posters. I wanted to be like them. I emulated them with my swing and my training and everything I did. And I remember getting to high school and just having this realization that I'm not a guy, that I'm not going to be signing a contract with the Dodgers anytime soon, and that basically the path and everything that I tried to emulate was stopping. It was stopping right there. And it was like finding out when Santa didn't exist. And I know, sorry, Julie. My bad. We'll talk about that later. But for me, I remember going through my early parts of high school being very sad because my dreams, everything I envisioned was no longer going to happen. And right about a couple years after that, 1996, was the year of the women in Olympic sports. It was the first time soccer, basketball, softball were in the Olympics. And I just remember being in high school and watching these games in Atlanta and seeing not just women, but then seeing my sport, the sport I played, seeing Dot Richardson, Lisa Fernandez, these kick-butt women on television, hitting home runs, running around the bases for the first time. I'd never seen women softball players on television until that point. And all of a sudden, it was like Santa exists again. And I knew that I could go somewhere. And my dream became the Olympics. I want to be an Olympic softball player. I want to go beyond just high school and everything that I'm doing. And to have women around me, to finally be able to see that, especially when I got to a point when there wasn't. And I'm still a big baseball fan, but I have made my mission, besides the goals I have on the field, still competing and playing, to be able to reach these young girls, to be able to let them know that I'm here not as a softball player, but as a role model. And what I found, especially at events like this, and so many that I've been around with other women and men, is how much we can inspire each other. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete. You don't have to be Brett Butler on the Dodgers, even the Dodgers rock, but that we can do that within ourselves. And that's why, I wear a lot of hats. I'm all over the place. I'm very, very passionate. But my main goal is for no one to ever feel like they can't do something because they're female or because, the road ends there. That no matter what, we can help each other. And going around and speaking around the country to these young girls, I've learned that it doesn't stop with them. I've always focused on that high school girl and letting them know about their insecurities, about looking themselves in the mirror and seeing a beautiful woman no matter what their weight is or what their body is or what they have. But to also do that with my friends. I'm 30 years old and I'm finding the same speeches that I give to girls in a crowded room, I'm sharing with my own girlfriends when we're sitting up at night and talking to, they're going, oh, I'm so ugly, I'm fat, I'm this and I'm that, and, I suck at this. And I find as women, we tend to want to complain and focus on how horrible we are. And I'll never forget, I heard this speech at an ESPNW event. Billie Jean King, who is my mentor, she's the founder of the Women's Sports Foundation and has held my hand and led me in a lot of ways, but she taught me, she gave me a speech, and she talked about when she meets a couple, Doesn't matter who the guy is. He's always talking about, oh, yeah, I'm into sport. Back in high school, oh, I tore it up. I could do this. I mean, it could be dodgeball. It could be tetherball. It could be whatever it is. But they're talking about how good they were and how much, and they could be 350 pounds or, 5'2". It didn't matter. They're always bragging about how good they are. And then you get to the wife. And she's, I suck at sports, I'm horrible, I'm so wimpy, I'm this, I'm that, and it's immediately this, how much we complain. And it hit me right there that is what I want. I want to be able to be around the women and have them feel so good, even if they're not good at or don't feel like they are, to have that confidence, to exude it and share it. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, to be able to tell everyone, hey, I rock. And I'm going to be able to walk into a boardroom, an Olympic Games, whatever it is, and feel like I absolutely rock. And that speech has stuck with me and made me realize that when I'm at an event with Wise LA especially, and that's why Alex, she came into my house after that email, okay? And I remember my husband going, oh, is this a friend of yours? Do you know her? I'm like, no, she emailed me through my fan site, and oh, do you know what she looks like? No, I have no idea. For all I know, she could be some crazy lady, but this is what I did know. And I knew that she was a part of a group of women that did rock and that were going out there and doing all the things that I wanted to be a part of. So sure, let's risk it. She could be a stalker and come and kill us all, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. And she came to my house. I remember my husband being like, you're absolutely crazy, hun. But I think those are the types of things that opening doors and just trusting each other and letting each other know that we rock is really how we get somewhere. So thank you. Thank you very much.